The following program will make you want to grow things and experience new and wonderful dreams about your plants, garden, and garden design. Listener participation is always strongly advised. Good evening and welcome to Down the Garden Path with your hosts Joanne Shaw and Matthew Dressing, right here on Reality Radio 101. To get on board right now, send us an email. Our email address is instudio101@gmail.com. And now, right to your hosts of Down the Garden Path, Joanne Shaw and Matthew Dressing.
Thank you, and welcome everyone to this episode of Down the Garden Path, where we discuss down-to-earth tips and advice for your plants, gardens, and landscapes. As landscape designers and gardeners, we think it is important and possible to have great gardens that are low maintenance, and we want to help you make it happen. I'm Joanne Shaw, landscape designer and owner of Down to Earth Landscape Design. I have been designing beautiful landscapes for homeowners east of Toronto for over a decade. With me across Zoom is my co-host Matthew Dressing. Welcome, Matthew.
Welcome, Joanne. Good evening, everyone. I am Matthew Dressing, horticulturist and landscape designer and owner of Natural Affinity Garden Design. Natural Affinity is a landscape design and garden maintenance firm servicing Toronto and the Eastern GTA. Joanne and I enjoy hosting Down the Garden Path each week, bringing you interesting, relevant, and helpful topics to help you achieve a great garden. We learn right along with you from each other, from our research, and from the guests that join us here on the show. As always, we welcome your questions via social media, email, or phone call.
That's right. And we want to thank everybody who is joining us on the live recording of Down the Garden Path. We love that we record live and we're unedited and we're just us, don't we, Matt?
That's right.
So you can always, just so you know, especially if you're a new listener, you can always check out our past shows of Down the Garden Path on your favorite podcast app. And while you're there, please don't forget to subscribe so that you'll be notified of new content. And more importantly, even more importantly, please like and share or leave us a comment or a review. So we're going to talk, hint, we're going to talk a bit about reviews later in the show. But we want to just thank you very much for joining us here. And I know many people will listen to this after the fact, but we love interacting with our live audience here on Reality Radio. So thank you for joining us tonight.
That's right. And thank you, Gary, for always having us here Monday nights at 7.
Thank
on
you.
Reality Radio 101. We love being here. Well, can you believe it's December already?
I know, December 7th.
That's right. Another year has gone by, and what a year it has been. But you know what time it is, right? A new month means a new topic here on Down the Garden Path. This month, however, we are only doing one live show.
That's right.
Making tonight's theme, or this month's theme, and tonight's topic, Lessons from 2020, a look back. So, you want to join the conversation? Has 2020 taught you something about gardening? Maybe you're a new gardener. You maybe have a question to ask or an experience to share. We always love to hear from you. We love to hear where you're from. Just to interact with you, like Joanne was saying.
Yes, design dilemmas, right?
That's right. We can always take your pictures here. We love to hear what your design dilemmas are. We are landscape designers. We love helping you solve those landscape dilemmas. So send them all here in studio 101@gmail.com, or you can reach us anytime, Joanne at down2earth.ca. and Matthew at naturalaffinitydesigns.ca. So, wow.
Yes, I know. And it's so, and as our listeners, if you've been listening for a while, so the last 2 months we've had guests on the show, which has been fabulous. I know Matt will laugh at me because I was so nervous now that we're doing shows over Zoom. I was like, when we had our first guest over Zoom, I was so nervous about it. But it has been a blast getting to know everybody that way. And it is much easier. I really enjoy, over the phone versus over the phone like we used to do it. So, I'm loving it. And but I'm excited that it's just you and me. I miss our chats.
Right? It's nice just to be together.
That's right.
On Zoom, or we used to be in the studio, but it is indeed. It is indeed. So where do we want to start? This is our final show of the year. If you guys
I know.
weren't aware, this is season 6, episode 41. So we've done 41 shows this year. So there's
Wow.
40 previous wonderful shows for you guys.
41 live shows. There were recording ones in between, but yeah,
there
41
was
live shows.
41 live brand new shows.
41 live shows.
That's right.
So lots of content, everybody. So again, if you're new to the show or you've only listened to the last couple of episodes, and we've got years because it's season 6, so we've got a few seasons. So thank you everybody for joining us on this journey, right, Matt? We want to thank everybody.
That's right. Thank you very much. Do you want me to do the thank you part that I was telling you before?
Sure.
Just looking back, we were just looking, we do it every week and we always have new listeners joining us. So I just Gary is awesome and sends us the stats every week. So we just noticed that when we started January 13th this year with episode 1, growing all the way through episode 40, because obviously we don't know how many of you are turning in live now. But we've grown with 1,537 new listeners, which is absolutely amazing over a year. So thank you and welcome everybody to the show, and giving us the inspiration and the drive to do this. We love doing it with you and for you and interacting with you. So I thought that was a pretty impressive number.
Yeah, that is funny. That is no, not funny. Sorry. That is very cool that you even thought to take that number. I was thinking what's funny is, as much as we love doing it when it's just you and I, and I'm sure the listeners can tell, look, we kind of wing it a bit more when it's just you and I, right? So it is a little looser and a little bit more fun. But we are excited. So yeah.
That is
and
great.
We're excitedly planning. We've also been meeting for the last several weeks weekly to plan next year. So I do want to ask, like, we kind of have it, we do think that our themes went well. Some themes will stay the same, some will change a little bit. We've been tweaking that. But we'd love to hear from you. Is there a topic you want to know more about? Is there something, a specific guest that you think we should have on the show, or a specific topic? We'd love to hear that, because we have lots of great ideas. And I know when we first met, we're like, to start this, we're like, how much more can we talk about? And then we came up with all this whole, another 12, a lot of shows. So there's lots to talk about in the gardening world. Lots of new gardeners out there with lots of questions, and even experienced gardeners, because things keep changing. Which is why, I love hearing from you guys to find out what you would like to hear more of. So don't you agree?
Yes, I just gonna wait for you to finish your thought. I agree too. I love hearing from you guys. I love seeing what is interesting, what you guys find interesting, what's on top of your mind. You know what? That's what I love about being a landscape designer and working in the garden center industry. Everyone's always approaching you with their own take on things, their own perspective, their own likes and dislikes. And it's very interesting in seeing how you can put that all together, and what you guys are doing with them, or with all of that, and how you want to grow and do things with that as well. Mm-hmm. So I agree completely. We've got a couple listener questions.
Sure. Do we want to? Okay, let's do the listener questions, and then we can talk about.
I was just going to say, Mike's question here is going to lead right into what you want to talk about.
Oh, what is Mike saying?
So Mike says, hello, Joanne and Matt. I love your show. Merry Christmas to you. And Merry Christmas to you too, Mike. Thank you for your question and your comment here. I've gone to your podcast. I love them. Sometimes I've gone several times to the podcast when you've given advice on a particular topic, and I had to keep going over it to review it. Excellent. Thank you for doing that, and Happy New Year. So yeah,
Oh,
Merry Christmas
thank
and
you,
Happy New
Mike.
Year, Mike.
Oh, that's great. Well, Mike, we have good news for you. So if you've enjoyed the podcast, we are, I know, are we begging them? Not really, but
Oh,
we have swag, you guys. We have these really cool, I surprised Matt today. They were little, this really cool Down the Garden Path podcast t-shirts that are amazing. They're black with our logo on the front and back. And we are excited to hand out 3 of these, aren't we, Matt?
that's right. And how are we going to do it?
How are we going to do it? We really would love some podcast reviews. So, Mike, since you just gave us a very nice oral review, but we would love for you to go to your podcast apps. And if you love our podcast, if you think we can improve, that's fine too, I guess. But we'd love for you to leave us a review. Maybe just take a picture. I know it's a bit complicated because we want to be able to get you well, we need your address anyway. So if you can take a review, do a review, take a picture of it, and email us at your address and a picture of that review. Matt's what's our podcast email?
Yeah, you can send it just to the podcast. It's Down the Garden Path Podcast at hotmail.com. That's our in behind the scenes where Gary and the Zoom times send us our email.
That's right.
So yeah, Down the
Of
Garden
course,
Path
you can do in studio, right? In studio 101 at gmail.com works as well.
That's right. And don't forget to send it to our own email addresses. Reach out to Joanne and I and say, hi, Joanne at down the number.
That's too many emails now. We're making it confusing. So no, so we just would
Whichever
love you
one
to
you
review.
want.
Yeah, so we'd love you to review us on your favorite podcast app and take a snapshot, send us your email, and then we will send out the first 3 that do it, or we'll draw from a 3.
We're going to give you guys a week to make a review and send us that thing. And then after that week, we will draw everything on the 14th when we are away, and we will notify the winners.
Excellent.
So leave us a review, send it to one of our addresses. You've heard it many times on the show, all of the addresses.
Yes.
And we will get back to you and send you some fantastic swag.
That's right. And I will post pictures. I'll take, because I wanted to surprise Matt tonight over Zoom, but I will post some pictures of the t-shirt on our Instagram. So check out Instagram, Down the Garden Path podcast on Instagram. So yeah, so we're excited about having some swag.
That we are. So thank you, Mike. We segue
Very
into
much.
that. We will repeat that for those who join us later on the show. But let's go to Carl. Carl's written in, hello, Joanne and Matthew. I just wanted to say thank you for all the great lessons, tips, tricks, and guests that you had on your show over the past year. I always listened in when I could and enjoyed every minute of them. Merry Christmas and a very happy new year to all of you there at the radio station. Very looking forward to your show in the coming year. Carl from Aurelia, Ontario.
Oh, excellent, Carl. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Carl. And Merry Christmas. And we hope that you have a wonderful, Happy New Year as well.
That's right. And I love it when people tell us where they're from. So that's always great.
That's right.
Yeah. So
it's been a while since we've done it ourselves. In our opening segment, we normally talk about our gardens, but I think, both of our gardens are kind of quiet and asleep.
Yes.
Was there any updates? Did you add anything new? Did anything happen in your garden in the last little bit of month while we had all those guests?
No, not really. I mean, it's holding its own. Nope. I did do, you know what I did do? We've talked about it on the show. So, we've talked about leaves, and that's a big thing now with people, raking leaves. Oh no, we're all past that now. If they're raked, they've done that kind of thing. But I tried the putting our leaves in, because we hate putting them in bags. And I try to put as much on the garden as possible. But when they're really big, it's harder. So I did put them in the garbage can and did my weed with my new Ryobi battery operated. I'm loving my we have a few things Ryobi now, and I'm loving them.
I love that
Very
too.
light.
Yes.
And So we did, and it worked. It worked really well. So yeah, so that was cool. So then, and honestly, what would have been probably 7 bags, 7 or 8 paper bags, ended up being 2.5 like plastic garbage cans full of leaves. Like it crushed it down that much, and I was able to
Wow.
sprinkle those over my gardens. So yeah, so I was really impressed. So that was my like little thing that I did that way, and I'm because I did take a video of it. I don't know where I posted that, but I did take a video of it, um, and to show everybody that I did it. It was easier. Well, I needed my husband's help because it was hard to It was I was trying to use the weed whipper and videotape it at the same time, which was a little challenging. So then my husband's like, so my first video was like little crooked and like you saw like half of the container, so it was kind of funny. But anyway, so no, but I do want to talk about the designing. So it has not slowed down. I have never designed in October and November, and oh my goodness, December before. So it has. People are keen to get stuff done next year, and so I'm excited. I've done some virtual designs, doing a lot of Zoom meetings. So the design season has not stopped.
Very, very nice.
Yeah.
We need to obviously get you a GoPro for 2021 for Down the Garden Path so we can take videos
Yeah,
and send them to people.
maybe that is the because I'm not my skill isn't that good. So yeah, maybe we actually do have a GoPro. Maybe I have to steal it from my son. That's an old GoPro.
There
Huh.
we go. There we
Yeah.
go. Yeah, same with me. So just going back, like my garden, yeah. So I kind of put the balcony to bed. I brought in all my perennials. Nothing too crazy there as well. Um, I am definitely not as flush with designs as you are. You're much more established than I am. I am the small, growing venture still yet
Yes.
to come. I'm at the beginning of Joanne's journey. So I've had a few design inquiries. I'm still interacting with some people who are reaching out, which is good. I'm also teaching at the local community college, so that takes up some good time. And then I'm still working at the garden center. So I've been pretty busy. And the garden center, despite all the COVID craziness, is absolutely going bonkers. People are still buying lots of trees. We're in the time of fresh greens, fresh
Hmm.
arrangements, lots of decorating still going on. It's still nice and busy and active. So, yeah, so
Yeah,
garden.
it's a nice. I was actually there on the weekend, and it is a nice place to wander around, even if you're not buying anything. I was buying a gift because there's lovely giftware there, so I didn't buy any plants. But yeah, so garden centers. Visit a garden center, especially a small local garden center near you.
Yes,
Unique things. Your dollar. I mean, it's like supporting local, right? Every dollar counts. This has been a hard year, lots of extra expenses with PPE and all of that stuff and limits and things. So support local, regardless of where you are.
you've got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have a couple other listeners who've written in.
Okay.
Kyle has said, "Thank you, Merry Christmas, and Happy Healthy New Year. Grow with triple exclamation marks.
Yes.
So we
Perfect.
will continue to grow." And the same to you, Kyle. Merry Christmas. Happy Healthy New Year to you and yours. We've also got, um, where's the name here? Just the same as the email address. Um, we'll just call it P for the first letter. P is written in. Hi to you all. I love the podcast. A lot of the times I can't listen to your live show because of my work schedule. I do go to the podcast then to listen. I have learned so much, even though a lot of the times things are of a local nature on your show. I still get the gist of the idea, and the advice is fabulous. So thank you for that. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Yes, thank you. We know it local and it is a little tricky, but definitely tell us where you're from. And that's part of the reason when we want to ask people where, if we get a better idea of where people are, and I know it can be anywhere in the world, then we can definitely help make sure there's content, that's more applicable. So thank you very much for your comments. So
That's right. And you know what? Maybe is that an idea? Do we need to basically look at the map of, North America, the states, and Canada, and divide it into, its sections: northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest? And do we need to do a general month on gardening in those sections?
We're out of months, Matt. We're out of months. There's
We're
only
out of
12.
months.
I
Maybe we
know,
need
I
to
know.
change them.
But
Who
but
knows?
definitely if there's a topic, if there's a local topic or a local issue, happy to incorporate that, right? So that's why there's lovely feedback. Thank you so much.
That's right. Speaking of, Cindy has written in, "Hello, Merry Christmas to you. Love your shows over the years. I have learned so much. Happy New Year to you and your families, Cindy." Thank you,
Oh, thank you,
Cindy.
Cindy.
And the same to you and yours. Phil's also written in, "Hey, a lawn question. Only kid, only kidding. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. I've never been to your podcast, but I have been meaning to. I guess I will now since you will not be on the air for a few weeks. Happy New Year to you and your families.
Well,
Happy
Phil's
New Year.
obviously a longtime listener here if he knew the lawn joke. So
He's
thank
got the
you,
lawn
Phil,
joke.
very much. So
Exactly.
definitely, um, definitely. And the podcast is the repeat of our show. So if there were any live shows that you missed or you want to listen to again, then that the podcast is a perfect place to listen to it. Great.
You got it. So
Yeah.
tonight's show is lessons from 2020 and looking back. Is there anything that jumps out at you? Have you learned anything from 2020?
Me or our listeners?
You, but I'd
Okay,
love to
me,
learn a little
but
bit
I'd
from
love,
listeners too.
yeah, I'd love to hear what the listeners have learned or want to learn or enjoyed or whatever. Any feedback from this past gardening season. As for me, I mean, I think of well, gardening wise, I think it was. I mean, I've been doing it so long that I don't know that there was many surprises or anything like that. I
Mm,
think through the show, I feel like. Um, Learning about I'm really glad we decided to take those 4 or 5 episodes and learn more about climate. And
yeah, definitely. That was a great one.
it's been something we wanted to talk about more, but neither of us felt comfortable, and you hear bits and pieces and putting it all together. And um I think it has helped. I mean, certainly not experts, and certainly um know how it's affecting my I know how it's affecting my own garden, and we know how it's affecting the zones and the plants. When I started this journey of gardening, 15 years ago, there were things we couldn't grow, barely grow. And now, like, I think of Japanese maples and Japanese bloodgrass, like things that were just so borderline and needed so much. And when I started out working at the nursery, like, honest to goodness, like I felt like one out of every two Japanese maples we sold came back dead, right?
Yeah,
And now it's easy peasy, like, and everybody's like, yay, we can keep the Japanese maples alive. Well, they didn't change the Japanese maple. It's our winters are different, our summers are different, the plant's doing better. So yeah, so anyway, I don't want to go. I really did enjoy learning more about that, and we hope to have more in 2021.
that's right. Yeah, definitely. Climate is definitely an issue that we would like to, and we've planned to tackle on a little bit more of a regular basis. I guess you know what from 2021, I think just designing and in the garden center and educating. I think that this year has really reinforced, just we talk so much on the radio show, and I think we say so many things. We talk and share our knowledge so much. I think sometimes it's easy just to take things for granted. I think
Mm.
in gardening, right? I think I just realized that this year, we're all really. I think it was our conversation. It was either with Steve, maybe, um, or someone, one of our authors. But we're all at different levels, and we've just got to, remember to take the time and share the knowledge and break it down and know that everybody's coming from different places. And I
Mhm.
think it's exciting from, the education standpoint, but the gardening and the designs or garden center and the design perspective is just enjoying that everybody's at a different spot and, giving them starting out and helping them on their journey and just how exciting that really can be. Because sometimes you just blurt it out thinking how they already know that inner monologue as to why you're
Yeah.
saying it that way, and you really don't. Um, so I think that's one of my big things from 2020 is yeah, just taking the time and don't take anything for granted.
Mhm.
We're all on a journey,
Yeah.
and this year has been a crazy journey.
And
Um,
you forget things too, like, there's always like, that's the thing, like, there's stuff that we know or I've read, but then it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that, right? Oh
yes,
yeah. you know
yes, totally.
so definitely that is really important. And I think one thing that I've really appreciated, obviously we can't talk about 2020 without mentioning the pandemic and the stay home orders and and how much more time everybody's spending at home. But I think the one, I don't know if you call it a benefit, but is just how much more people are. I think that's why as a landscape designer I'm so busy, is because people realize how important home is,
Yeah,
and they might have been distracted before from travel or distracted because of work, and then when they got home they had no lights in their backyard, so they never used their backyard. But now that they're working from home and spending so much time at home, travel in the near future doesn't look as exciting as in the past, for the next couple of years anyway. I think it's, the people are really appreciating their home and wanting to spend, figuring out outdoor spaces. You couldn't find a patio heater, you couldn't find a fire pit, you couldn't find a gazebo. It was all hard to find things.
yeah.
Pools, the pools, I'm sure pool bookings are into 2022 by now. I think it's definitely made people realize how important home is. And it's not just, and vegetable gardening along that goes,
Oh
like,
yeah,
honestly, every single, like, seriously, I think every single design, wants something edible in their gardens. And, and that wasn't the case, a couple of years ago even. So yeah, so I think it's been interesting to see some of the trends. I think the feedback from, listeners on the show about what they're interested in and their questions about vegetable gardening and different things in their home gardens, you know, yeah.
mm, I agree. I'm having a little somber reflection moment there. You caught me. So I'm just going to dive in. We've got two more listener questions, comments. Harry's written in. Hi, loved your show this year, even if a lot of the times your topic or guests were not really a local thing to myself or to thousands of your listeners as well. We got the benefits of the ideas, tips, and knowledge and the advice from different gardening protocols. That is why I love listening to your show, like I'm sure many others do, to hear the general information and knowledge about gardening. Thanks for all of the advice. Merry Christmas to all of you and a very happy, healthy new year. Thank you, Harry.
Excellent. And thank you, Harry. And if you could just tell us where you're calling in from too, because that really helps us. And if there's a topic that's specific to you, or if, there's a speaker in your local area, we'd love to have them on, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Teresa's also written in. Hi, I'm a new listener from Queens, New York City. Several of my friends listen to your show every week and told me about it. I can't wait to start hearing you live again in the new year. I will check out your podcasts. Can you please give me your website again where I can access those files? Thank you so much. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you all. Thank you, Teresa. So, yeah, you can find our Down the Garden Path podcast on all of your favorite podcast providers, Apple Music, Google Podcast. If you Google Down the Garden Path podcast, you will find us there as well. You don't forget to also check out our websites. You can check out me, Matthew, at naturalaffinitydesigns.ca, and definitely go over to Joanne at down the number to earth.ca, and you can find links and all the podcast episodes there as well. And now, Teresa, just as you mentioned, where can you find past shows while you're catching up on them over this long break that we're going to take in this cold winter? Don't forget to like, comment, and share to all the podcasts on whatever app you tend to listen or download. And Joanne, we're doing something right now for those
That's
who leave a review.
Yeah, so we really would love a review, and if you have time to leave us one, if you enjoy the podcast and or have some tips for us or whatever, leave a review. Just take a quick picture of that review, and then email us here at Down the Garden Path Podcast. Um,
At
and
hotmail.com.
sorry, at hotmail.com. Sorry,
Yep.
thank you. Down the Garden Path podcast at hotmail.com with your address. And we have we're raffling off some new swag. So Down the Garden Path podcast t-shirts. So I'll post a picture of this. They're hot off the presses. They just arrived today. And so, yeah, so that's what we're going to do. So thank you, everybody, for listening and for checking out the podcast.
That's right. Lots of great content there. We hope you guys continue to enjoy it. Eric has written in. Okay, just one question for the two of you for 2021 in all caps. Is the book going to come out in the new year? When? We love you too. Merry Christmas from Eric.
Well, Eric, you're going to have to come back for our first episode in January to find out. Don't you think, Matt?
I agree with Joanne. Yeah, Eric, you definitely have to tune into our show. And just for you guys who are listening, like Teresa, who's maybe just turning in, our first show back will be Monday, January 25th. And we have titled it Welcome Back, a look towards a new year. So there might be some interesting information for you to be.
Yeah, some special announcements and maybe some more swag. You know, who knows, right?
Who knows? I don't.
I know. So, yeah, we want to keep you looking forward to that date.
That's right. Adam's also written in, hi, we'll check out your podcast. I never have as yet, but I will now. Thank you. Yes, the pandemic actually has helped a lot of people get in touch with their lawns and gardens. So in a way, it is a good thing. People are growing vegetables in their gardens, and the gardens are looking better because folks are home all the time. I think even though the pandemic is a horrible thing, it has helped a lot of the homeowners with their gardening tasks. Thank you for your advice, and please enjoy the holidays. P.S. From Seattle, Washington, Adam. Awesome. Thank you very much, Adam.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Adam, for writing in and telling us where you're from, too. That's great.
That's right. And I agree. Yeah, I think, yeah, you've got some great points there, Adam, for sure. Everyone's definitely, like Joanne was saying, we're getting back to home. We're getting back to our roots, whether it's familial roots or it's, plant roots into our gardens. And I think we're all going to be growing and be better for it for sure. So awesome.
That's right. And I think I do want to give a shout out to local garden clubs. So I do want to, as much as we want to help you and we want to be, that's what we're here for every Monday night and on the podcast. But we do encourage everybody, regardless of where you are, there's a garden club near you, a horticultural society. Many, they can't meet in person right now, but many are meeting virtually, still having speakers, still sharing information. Many have like Facebook groups and other ways that they're still trying to draw a community. So we definitely want to encourage everybody to join, to visit. It's a great way to listen to learn from other gardeners, to see what they're involved in, and lots of great speakers, usually from lots of variety of different topics. So yeah, I have my meeting tomorrow, and we're going to talk about Christmas houseplants, much like our show next week. That'll talk about, because I think plants make a great gift this time of year, and so we're going to talk about how to care for them and the best types to have. So shout out to garden clubs.
That's right. For all ages as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. A lot of younger people are interested in horticulture, but I think, and I think maybe you can speak to it too, a lot of younger people don't feel like they belong at those hort clubs, and they seem to be a little shy about it. But you know what? There's so much knowledge there. If you look at everybody's experience, you've got hundreds and hundreds of years of experience, and lots of people like different things and are experts in all sorts of different stuff. So I think they're amazing. I've gotten to speak at a lot of them, as I know you have as well. They're diverse, they're an energetic, knowledgeable, happy to share, kind-hearted group of people. So if you haven't checked out your local garden club, you definitely have to do some research and hit those guys up. You're missing out on a lot of good people and good knowledge.
That's right. And I actually, on Instagram, I just republished a show we did 2 years ago on the Ontario Horticultural Association. I know it's local. Sorry, people not local, but we did it was December 2 years ago that we spoke to Joanne, different Joanne, and so I just updated that show, and the link is in our Instagram right now, so you can listen to that if you want to, if you are local in Ontario. But I know I follow a bunch of different garden clubs all over the U.S. as well, and a few other places in Canada. So it's because I love seeing what everybody's doing. So
Yeah,
so yeah, so that is so definitely a shout out to them.
that's
So
right.
yeah, and what else do we want to shout out to? Oh, did you have a favorite show? And we were going to talk about it. I think we have both had the same favorite show, but no, I'll choose a different favorite show. You go ahead. What was your favorite show of
Oh, do we have
2020?
to the same favorite shows? I think you were talking about you liked the month of climate, so I could say I really enjoyed our authors month. I know it was really
Okay.
fresh, and maybe I'm being biased because it is that fresh. But again, just our venture, wink, what, who, and then talking to all the authors and getting to know their experience. That was really fun, getting to know the authors. A favorite show in particular, um, you know what? My first one was off the top of my head was our Nativar show. So our native cultivars and how cultivars of native plants have come a long way and can still benefit your garden with some of the ornamental value of some more of the more modern cultivated plants, but also some of the value that the native counterparts, their parents, are going to bring to the garden as well. So that was July 27th show. What about
Okay.
your what was your favorite?
Well, we did. I taught. Kind of have two. So, straw bale gardening. We talked to
Yep.
Joel Karsten. He was one of our first. It was our first interview. That was the one I was so nervous about, like really nervous.
You
And
were totally
I was
like
really nervous.
borderline scared.
I was almost like mad at Matt for making me do it. Like I was really nervous. And it was great. Joel was amazing. The topic was amazing. I was so fascinated by it. And I'm really hoping to be able to do it next year in my own backyard. So I definitely, what date was that one? Do you have the date?
Oh, I don't, but I'll find it.
Okay, well, you'll find it. And then I think my second one was also a topic that just absolutely inspires me is the country. When we spoke to Janet from Country Cut Flower Farm,
Ooh,
and I got to visit the farm. I got to meet Janet. So yeah, so I'm so inspired. I follow a bunch of different flower farmers, and I mean, I know farming across the board is a challenging lifestyle, but watching these flower farmers, deal with the early frost and the weather and the drought and yeah, it's just awe inspiring. So so definitely I loved talking with her.
so Joel's was May 21st. So if
Okay.
you're searching, you can still search Straw Bale Gardening, two words, or just Joel, and you will find May 21st, 2020's episode of Straw Bale
Excellent.
Gardening. We also, by the way, because I know you wanted me to let you know, we do have straw bales still for you to
Oh,
start your straw bale
well,
gardening
no, but we already
as they describe.
established that I can't put them in the garage because I don't want to attract mice. So I need to wait till the
Oh, we did
spring.
talk about
We
that.
did talk
Yes,
about
we
that
did. We
because
did.
yeah,
I
because
apologize.
I'm like, can I leave them outside? And Matt's like, no, you got to keep it in the garage. I'm like, well,
Yeah,
then it's going to be like a little, haven for mice. So no, I will wait until the spring. So that's okay. But I'm excited because we have a lot of patio in the back and not a lot of garden space. So I think that's a way I can get a couple extra, some more plants.
that's right.
So I'm excited about that. Yeah.
I was just thinking
And
I was going to try it too, but the whole curing the thing that Joel mentions, I don't know if they'd appreciate that. Uh, I'll let them go back and listen. Um,
well, we're not going to cure it the way that they did in the other countries. There's other ways to do it, right?
there it is.
Okay.
Ben has written in, hi from Santa Rosa, California. I
Yay.
enjoy the show, love the advice. Your podcast is very nice. I go to them when I need my fix during the week of gardening information. Please have a safe, happy holiday season and please stay healthy. No long questions. Sorry. Thank you, Ben.
Excellent. Well, I love our West Coast listeners, and we definitely have to come up with some topics just for them. So definitely stay safe out there, and because I know there's even though it's not in the news, there's still fires and stuff happening. So we definitely we need to find a guest from California, something like that. So definitely, thank you so much for listening.
That's right. Thank you, Ben. James has also written in. Merry Christmas to you. Loved the shows this year. Looking forward to all your great guests and advice next year. Please stay safe and healthy, and please remember always have the tines of the garden rakes pointed down. Yes, very good tip, James. Always, Joanne's like straining to listen.
I know.
Always
I'm
have the
like,
tines of the garden rakes pointed down.
Hey, you know
oh.
what? That's funny. I have to admit. Who is that from?
That's James.
Okay, James, is it you said? James.
Yeah,
Yeah.
James.
James, if you're listening, that's funny because I, had a bad experience. You know what I'm saying, Matt, right? I
Yeah.
stepped on a rake a couple of years ago. It was a dirt rake though. And that's,
Okay.
and that handle came up and you know what? It clobbered me in a
Yeah.
couple of areas. It was bad. So
Uh-oh.
that's yeah. So that's hilarious advice. Thank you for that.
And I have to say I've done it too.
Yeah,
Like
see? Isn't it
I'm really bad
amazing?
about laying, like
Yep.
everybody else props up the rake. Even the guys get mad at me on the job site, like
Yeah.
with the shovel. Like, they stick it in the ground and like, but if the ground is too hard, then I just like I just drop it when I'm finished using it. I just drop it and boy do they get mad. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
It's not good. Oh gosh. That now I
Brad,
know why they don't want me to help at the site on the site. So
yeah, Joanne's here.
yeah.
Brad's written in aloha from Honolulu, Hawaii. You
Wow.
know what else makes a great Christmas gift? A book by Joanne and Matt. That's all. Happy New Year. Thank you, Brad. Thank you for listening from all the way over in Honolulu. That's
Oh my
amazing. We
gosh.
love that you're
Yes.
listening from that far away.
Hmm.
That's awesome. Did you
I
want to say
know.
something?
No, I'm like so
Oh,
envious now of like him being on the beach and hearing the water and yeah,
right.
it was really cool here today.
And then hearing our voices.
That's right.
Yeah, it was freezing here today. It was like minus 10.
Mm.
Um, yes. Anyways, a couple more listener questions. To Joanne, Matt, and Gary. I think that's the name of your producer that you've mentioned. And
Hmm.
yes, it is. Greg, you got it right. Merry Christmas to all of you and a very happy, healthy new year. Thanks for the gifts of gardening knowledge. Thank you, Greg. And yes,
Thank you.
happy new year and Merry Christmas to you and all of yours as well. And then next we have Bryce. Bryce has written in, hi, I live in Maysville, Georgia. My favorite show was a show that you had on with a lady who talked about birds and bird seed and bird food. It was on a while ago. I learned a lot from that show and I took a lot of advice. Thanks again. Happy New Year and Merry Christmas, Bryce.
That's right. That was Jane. And we haven't done I was kind of, when I was scrolling through some old shows today, we haven't done a bird show in a while. So maybe next year.
We haven't actually, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's good though. And maybe I'll bring that forward and kind of post that on Instagram because it was a really informative. Jane always gave us so much great tips. So thank you very much, Bryce. That was a great mention. Uh,
letting us know what they're listening to.
yeah, yeah,
That's
and
right.
what you want to hear, definitely. It really helps us, right? Because when we started, like I said, when we started planning, we're like, oh, we've talked about so much and we've done this for 6 years. What else could we possibly talk about? And then we like brain dumped and we came up with a ton of stuff. But there's even more stuff that I'm sure people want to hear, you know?
That's right.
So yeah, we're happy.
We are
As you can
happy.
see, everybody, we can talk. We can talk about gardening.
We can talk about it.
I
Speaking of gardening and looking back at lessons from 2020, pardon me, what about the gardening trends? What jumped out to you as the big gardening trends that you guys, all our listeners saw? Let us know. But also, Joanne, what did you see as prominent garden trends?
I think I mentioned it earlier. Like I think of almost pretty much every design, every landscape design, the homeowner wanted a vegetable, vegetables. Whether it was in recommended where they could put some containers, recommended where they could have or they wanted something permanently built, raised beds, really definitely all in on vegetables. So I think that has been, the biggest trend because not everybody has like the best conditions and things like that. So really having to really sort that out for homeowners and come up with the best way that they could do that. So yeah. So I think that trend with designs and the fact that they wanted it incorporated with the rest of their garden, also I think is a key thing. Like they didn't want it just in the middle of their lawn, like I
Mhm.
can, I'm sure our parents, my grandparents did, right? They just, vegetable garden was in the middle of the lawn kind of thing where the sun was. I mean, people were certainly more, still had that, they wanted vegetables, but they still kind of had a bit of a design aesthetic about, okay, how can we incorporate that into a nice garden space? And yeah, so that trend was just huge.
Yeah, I agree with you. Again, I was designing as well, incorporating fruiting bushes and veggies right into things. And like you said, again, anything from just like a small container of herbs to, they're incorporating it wherever they can, including in the garden center, right? Is just like, how can I grow my own? How can I do this? How can I make this work and incorporate it into my garden and my home and my everyday life? I found too just the like an underlining thread or a theme or sub theme if you wanted with the growing your own. The whole sustainability was also people were becoming aware of all this stuff that's happening and I don't have access to this or I need fresh that. How do I make it sustainable that I don't have to go out anymore? So just kind of like re-envisioning their garden, I think too, as a living, providing entity by again incorporating those veggies in a more an aesthetic way and using those plants for their edible value, but also their ornamental value
Mm.
as well.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that also goes to native. Like, I think people are really starting to know a bit more about native plants. I know you mentioned the Nativar episode,
Mhm.
but shrubs that did, provide beauty, but also food for the birds, or that type of thing. So I think that has definitely been, people are getting more and more aware of that. Like, long-term gardeners like us have been trying to do it, for a while now, but I think your average homeowner is starting to understand the importance of having something um, native,
Mhm. Yeah.
or what's the best, instead of I just want a shade tree. It's like, what's the best shade tree? Like, what should I plant that has the best environmental impact? So
Right. What ornamental but also environmental value is it going to bring to
yeah,
your space for sure?
definitely, definitely. And I think that's been good. Some of the cities have, with city trees have just given people, or when they've had to replace a tree, they've had a short list. And I think that's slowly trickling. People are being aware of, like, not all trees are created equal, and things like that. And it's tricky situations. No, none are perfect. Like, I think of ginkgo is one of my favorite trees. It's an excellent disease resistant, excellent street tree. No bird or insect feeds off of that tree. So
Mhm.
so it has no necessarily positive impact on the environment, which is too bad. But yet it does, it's not, it's got a longevity to it, which I think is a benefit. So yeah, so it's, that it's such a huge topic.
Oh, it always it's a huge topic with lots of different perspectives and yeah, and what an amazing story about the tree itself. So
Hmm.
that one particularly. So we're reaching our last 10 minutes. Dave has written in, hello, okay, I'm not from any exotic location. I'm actually in Toronto. Damn, wish I was from that Hawaii guy's place.
Yes, we do too, Dave.
Right, Dave. Love your show. I will listen when I can to the podcast. I haven't yet, but thanks for letting us know about them. Merry
Excellent.
Christmas. Happy New Year.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Thank you for listening in Toronto.
Exactly. Thank you, Dave.
Definitely. We really appreciate it.
So it's the last 9 minutes of our 2020 season here on Down the Garden Path, hosted by Reality Radio 101. Listeners, now's your last chance. Is there anything you need Joanne and I to know before we venture
Ah.
into the new year? Gardening, any advice from you guys as we
Hmm.
head forward into the great unknown that it's 2021?
Yeah, because we've got lots of planning ahead. So we love to hear from you. And even after the show, if you think of something over the next few weeks, you can email Gary at instudio101@gmail.com, or us at Down the Garden Path Podcast at hotmail.com. I'm so bad with the email addresses. But we'd love to hear from you, or of course our personal ones.
You got it.
Design dilemmas, if as you're planning your your garden for 2020. One thing I do recommend to everybody is, especially after it snows, but even now, if there's no snow where you are, is go outside on a cloudy day and take some pictures of your garden.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
That is like my number one, December, January, February tip. You'll see the gap, you'll see it completely different. You'll see the gaps, you'll see what looks interesting, you will see where you need to add something more interesting, where you have maybe too much interesting, too much busyness kind of thing. It really it's really gives you a different perspective. So yeah, it's a 4 season, because don't we all strive for a 4 season garden?
I was just gonna say, you've got one garden space, but you have four gardens in that space. So get to know them. What does your summer garden look like? What does your fall garden look like? Right?
I think that applies to like our West Coast listeners too, right? So I mean, maybe not Hawaii. You have to tell us. Is it Ben? You have to tell us. But I think
I
what
think
you're
it's Ben.
growing in the summer in Hawaii versus what you're growing in the quote unquote winter of Hawaii might be slightly different. But same California,
Correct.
Georgia, wherever you are, things have changed at the time of year, and so it's going outside and taking, and not even just looking at it, because I think there's something about taking a picture, like, and then looking at that picture later. You really see differently. So but we also did want to give a couple shout outs for other gift ideas for gardeners, right? Do we want to give a shout out for, I know it's a local thing, but the Toronto and Gordon Horseshoe Gardeners Journal,
That's right.
right?
By Helen Battersby and Sarah's Batterby with Margaret Bennett Alder. A fantastic resource. Lots of online links, way to organize your garden, your likes, your dislikes by month. Makes a great daily planner, even if you're not in the GTA or the Golden Horseshoe. There's still a lot of great value with this. It's been running for 29 years.
Yeah,
So
so definitely, and
definitely
there's
check
an
it out.
online version. So Matt and I are in the
Yep,
online version, but we're not in the print version, slightly different. But TorontoGardenBook.com. So take a look at that. Lots of tips. Lots of, I love, and I keep going back to the source book, because we get asked a lot about garden centers, nurseries, seed catalogs, different berry associations, different growing, where to get certain herbs and native plants, seeds. I know that's a common question online about where to order seeds from, and things like that. So there's lots of great information in this book.
that's right.
That's right.
As we hit the last 6 minutes, Gail has written in. Hello there. I really enjoy your show. I've been listening for about 2 years. I've gotten a lot of advice from you. My garden looks marvelous because of your show. I live in South Valley in New Mexico, and even though we have great weather here, there are a lot of things that, if we don't do right, can kill our shrubby trees, vegetables, etc. You've given me so much great advice. Merry Christmas to you and your staff, and a happy new year.
Oh,
Thank you, Gail.
thank you so much, Gail.
That's right.
Exciting to hear.
That is exciting to hear. Um, I was just kind of thinking staff. It's just I think it's the
Oh,
two of us
it's
and
staff.
Gary.
No, no, no. It's like we're Gary staff.
Yeah, yeah.
Can I give one more shout out?
For sure.
So someone I found on Instagram, he doesn't know we exist, but I definitely want everybody to check out at Tyler Thrasher Art.
Oh yeah.
He has these real, and check out his shop. He has these really cool garden journals. Actually, grow a damn journal is what. So that they have 3 different covers. This is for different areas of the world. So a fern, a cactus for you West Coasters, and a berry cover. So they look beautiful. And I mean, I'm definitely going to order one. I'm going to order a couple
Me
for a
too.
gift if I'm not too late. So yeah, they look really good. So I stumbled upon Tyler, and I just wanted to give him a shout out. He's got a great website and some really cool things on his shop, but especially those journals.
Yeah, they
So
got I think both our eyes like right off the bat.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
they're
So
quite nice, and this
I
website's
I
fantastic as
definitely
well.
like that, and it's always great to see new young gardeners and be so creative and stuff. So definitely, and I'll make sure that's in the show notes as well.
Very cool.
So what else do we want to talk? I know we had so many things we want to talk about. We want to thank everybody. Um,
We do. Um, we do want to thank everyone, and just so I can get him in there too, George has written, "Ho ho ho, Merry Christmas from the North Pole." Only kidding. Actually, I'm from Springdale, Newfoundland. I listen to your podcast a lot. I really enjoy them. Thank you for that. Merry Christmas to all of you, and Merry Christmas to you too, George. Thanks for listening to the podcast, as well as tuning in here live on Reality Radio 101.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Thank you very much for listening. I did want to, I'm trying to find it here and I can't.
All my show notes, I've spent them. Um,
You've done all your show notes, have you?
My show notes are done. It's 2020. It's over.
It's over.
We've got great listeners to thank, and
we do. We definitely do. And I want everybody to know that we've got lots of exciting things coming up for next year. We're really excited. Again, we'd love to hear your feedback as to what you'd like us to talk about, or whether it's a topic, or if you've got a favorite author or a favorite speaker out in your neck of the woods. We would love to hear from them. And we also virtual design. So Matt and I, we always seem to forget about telling you guys and reminding everybody that we are landscape designers. We are going to have that hint, a bit more of a focus next year, that we want to help you with design dilemmas. We are able to do virtual designs, and I'm trying to find the email here. I got a lovely, but I can't find it. Oh, okay. Review, because I did, Newfoundland just called, but I did shout out to Rose from New Brunswick. So she just wrote me a lovely review that says, "Just want to encourage everyone who might be thinking establishing a new garden bed or revamping an older bed to seriously consider hiring Joanne or Matthew to help with the design. I had Joanne help me make a plan to revamp an older bed, and even virtually, it was great. I took lots of measurements and she was able to apply her expertise. She had lots of wonderful suggestions, and with the help of Zoom, it all came out together. It all came together. Can't wait until spring to be able to get started. Thanks again, Joanne." So thank you, Rose, for that great review. And I do want our listeners, it does a little bit more work on your part to take some measurements and some photos, but please connect with us. Now's a great time to plan.
That's right. Exactly. So where can they reach us in the meantime?
That's right. So Joanne at down2earth.ca with the number 2. My website is down2earth.ca with the number 2 as well. And then from that website, you can find past shows. You can find all my Instagram links. Please look for our Facebook page, right, Matt? We have a Facebook group, which we'd love to grow in this little off season. So if you guys want to chat with us while we're not live, please, visit us there at Down the Garden Path Podcast on Facebook.
That's right. And you can reach me, naturalaffinity.designs.ca. You can find my email address, links to the past shows, and all of my social media there as well.
That's right. And we do want to lastly remind everybody that we would love a review. If you do listen to our podcast, or you have a chance in the next week or so to listen to the podcast, we are raffling off some Down the Garden Path podcast new t-shirts hot off the press. So please write the review, take a snap of that review, and email us Down the Garden Path podcast at hotmail.com with your address, and we'll get a shirt off to you. So thank you. Did I get everything right, Matt?
You did indeed,
okay.
Yes. We'll pick some lucky winners. From that, I think we have 3 in total to give away.
That's right, we do.
So we'll get some of those out. Other than that, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you for all of our listeners all year long. Thank you, Mike, Carl, Kyle, P, Sandy, Phil, Harry, Teresa, Eric, Adam, Ben, James, Brad, Greg, Bryce, Dave, Gail, and George for writing in your questions. Thank you always to everybody who tunes in and spends their Monday nights with us. Thank you, Gary, for helping us produce another fabulous year.
You're welcome.
Down the Garden Path. We love doing it here on Reality Radio 101. And Merry Christmas, Joanne. I know I'm going to see you later, I'm sure, but Merry Christmas.
You need to get your t-shirt.
Exactly. And I think for both of us too, Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
all the best. We hope that you are all healthy and happy.
Yeah, stay
and
safe.
surrounded by loved ones and are all very safe. Yeah.
Yeah, or not surrounded by loved ones. And I know a bit in quarantine or separate. I think it's going to be a different holiday for everybody. But
yes, I think the idea. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us down the garden path.
Thank you for listening to Down the Garden Path with your host, Joanne Shaw and Matthew Dressing, right here on Reality Radio 101.